Let me tell you something I've learned in over 20 years of practicing medicine. A man doesn't feel older the day he spots that first gray hair in the mirror. He doesn't feel older when his knees start talking back to him on the stairs, or when he needs to hold the menu a little farther away to read it. No, the moment a man truly feels something has shifted, something has slipped away, is when his body stops responding the way it used to in the most private corner of his life. I'm Dr. Claire Weston, and I've been a physician for more than 2 decades. In that time, I've sat across from thousands of men, many of them in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and I can tell you that what brings them through my door is rarely just one symptom. It's a quiet erosion of confidence. It's the feeling that the man they used to be is fading, one small loss at a time. And 9 times out of 10, the conversation eventually circles back to the same topic, the one nobody wants to bring up first. Today, I want to talk to all of you about 3 foods. 3 simple, affordable foods you can find at any grocery store in America, from a Walmart in rural Tennessee to a corner bodega in Brooklyn. Foods that, when used the right way, can support the circulation that powers everything below the belt. But before I name them, and I promise I won't make you wait long, I need you to understand something most doctors never bother to explain. When things stop working down there, it isn't just about that one part of your body. It isn't a bedroom problem. It isn't a marriage problem. It isn't a sign that you're done. What it really is in most cases is a message from your blood vessels. A message that the highway system carrying oxygen and nutrients to every cell in your body, including the most sensitive ones, is starting to get clogged, stiff, and tired. And here's the part that should get your attention. The same blood vessels that feed that area are connected to the ones feeding your heart, your brain, and your kidneys. So when one system starts to struggle, the others usually aren't far behind. That's why I want every man watching this, whether you're 60, 70, or 80 plus, to take this seriously. Not because of vanity, not because of pride, but because what's happening down there is often the very first warning sign of something bigger. Your body is talking. The question is whether you're listening. Now, before I go any further, I want to be straight with you because I owe you that honesty. Food alone is not going to fix everything. If you're managing high blood pressure, diabetes, an enlarged prostate, or you're on medications, especially nitrates, blood thinners, or anything for erectile function, you need to have a conversation with your own doctor before making big changes. Some of these foods I'm about to name can interact with medications. Beets, for example, can lower your blood pressure further if you're already on pills for it. I'm not here to replace your physician. I'm here to give you knowledge that, combined with proper medical care, can genuinely make a difference. Deal? Good. Let's get into it. The first food on my list is the humble beet. Yes, that ugly dirt-covered, deep red root that your grandmother probably pickled and your wife might still throw into a salad now and then. I know, beets aren't sexy. They don't show up in glossy ads. But let me tell you why this overlooked vegetable belongs at the top of every man's grocery list after the age of 60. Beets are loaded with natural compounds called dietary nitrates. When you eat a beet, your body takes those nitrates and converts them into something called nitric oxide. Now pay attention here, because this is the part that matters. Nitric oxide is the chemical messenger that tells your blood vessels to relax, to open up, to let blood flow more freely. It's the same pathway that some prescription medications target, only this one comes from the dirt, not from a pharmacy. When your blood vessels relax and open, blood reaches every corner of your body more easily. That includes the small, delicate vessels that feed the tissues we're talking about today. Better flow means better function, plain and simple. I've had patients in their 70s tell me that within a few weeks of adding beets to their daily routine, they noticed warmer hands and feet, more energy in the afternoon, and yes, more responsiveness in the bedroom. So how do you actually use beets? Here's what I tell my patients, and I want you to write this down or screenshot it. You can roast them in the oven with a little olive oil and salt. You can grate them raw into a salad. You can drink beet juice, about 4 to 8 ounces a day, but start small because it's powerful. Some folks prefer beet powder mixed into a smoothie. The form matters less than the consistency. 3 to 5 times a week is the sweet spot for most men. And a heads up, your urine and stool may turn pink or red for a day or 2. Don't panic. That's just the pigment passing through. It happens to everyone. A word of caution. If you're on blood pressure medication, talk to your doctor first. Beets are powerful enough that they can stack with your medication and drop your pressure too low. This isn't a reason to avoid them. It's a reason to be smart about it. Now, the second food. And this one is going to surprise some of you, because we usually only think about it as a summer treat at the 4th of July cookout. I'm talking about watermelon. But here's the catch. The part most people throw straight into the trash is actually the most valuable part. The white rind, that pale, slightly bitter layer between the red flesh and the green skin, that's where the magic lives. Watermelon, especially the rind, is one of the richest natural sources of an amino acid called L-citrulline. Once your body absorbs citrulline, it converts it into another amino acid called L-arginine, and from there, you guessed it, into nitric oxide. So in a sense, watermelon takes the same highway as beets, just from a different entrance ramp. Why does this matter for men over 60? Because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at producing nitric oxide on their own. The plumbing gets older, the signals get weaker. Citrulline gives your body the raw material it needs to keep that production line running. Studies have actually shown that citrulline supplementation can support healthier circulation and even support function down there in men with mild challenges. And what's a more natural source than the fruit itself? Here's how I want you to use it. When watermelon is in season, which here in the States usually runs from May through September, eat the whole thing. The red part for sweetness, and the white rind chopped up into a smoothie or even pickled, the way they used to do it in the South. Outside of season, you can find frozen watermelon, watermelon juice, or even citrulline supplements at most pharmacies. About 1 to 2 cups of watermelon a day, including some of the rind, is a reasonable target. A patient of mine, a gentleman from Florida in his late 70s, told me he started blending watermelon rind into his morning shake after his wife caught him reading about it. He said within a month he felt warmer overall, slept better, and had more pep in his step. Now, I can't promise every man will have the same experience. Bodies are different. But the science behind why this works is solid, and the cost of trying it is essentially zero. And here's a fun fact I share with my patients. The yellow watermelon, the rare variety some folks have never even heard of, actually contains even higher levels of certain antioxidants. If you can find one at a farmer's market this summer, grab it. Your body will thank you. Now we come to the third food, and this is the one I save for last, because in many ways it's the foundation. Without it, the other two are working with one hand tied behind their back. I'm talking about pumpkin seeds. Yes, those little green seeds you used to spit out when you were carving jack-o'-lanterns as a kid. Turns out they're one of the most concentrated sources of zinc and magnesium that nature has to offer. And those two minerals, my friends, are absolutely essential for every man over the age of 60. Let me explain why. Zinc is the mineral your body needs to produce testosterone. As men age, testosterone naturally declines, and with it goes energy, muscle tone, mood stability, and yes, that drive we used to take for granted. When zinc levels drop, testosterone production slows down even more. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Pumpkin seeds give your body the raw material to break that cycle. Magnesium, on the other hand, is the mineral that helps your blood vessels stay flexible. Remember how I said earlier that aging vessels get stiff? Magnesium is one of the keys to keeping them supple. It also helps regulate your heart rhythm, supports better sleep, and reduces muscle cramps, which a lot of you have probably noticed creeping in over the years. Pumpkin seeds also support prostate health, which becomes a real concern for most men past 60. The compounds in these seeds have been studied for decades for their role in supporting healthy prostate size and function, so you're getting a triple benefit. Hormonal support, vascular support, and prostate support, all from one little seed. How do you use them? A small handful a day, about a quarter cup, is plenty. You can eat them raw, roasted, or sprinkled over yogurt, oatmeal, or salads. I personally like the roasted, lightly salted variety. They make a great afternoon snack instead of reaching for chips or crackers. You can buy them at any grocery store, usually in the bulk bin or the snack aisle, and they're affordable. A bag will last you a couple of weeks easy. And before someone asks, because I know somebody will, no, pumpkin pie does not count. The filling is mostly sugar, cream, and spices. Delicious, sure, but it doesn't carry the same benefits. We're talking about the actual seeds, sometimes called pepitas if you see them labeled that way at the store. Now, here's where I want to pause and say something important to all of you. especially those of you watching from places like Texas, Ohio, California, or really anywhere across this country. I get questions all the time from men who feel embarrassed to bring this up, even with their own doctor. I want you to hear me clearly. There is nothing shameful about wanting to feel like yourself again. Nothing. I had a patient, a widower in his early 80s, tell me last year that he hadn't been on a date in 15 years because he was afraid of what might happen or what might not happen if things ever got that far. And I told him what I'm telling you now. The greatest gift you can give yourself in your later years isn't avoidance. It's preparation. It's taking care of the body you have so you can show up fully for whatever life still has in store for you. Whether that's a long marriage, a new relationship, or simply the satisfaction of feeling vital in your own skin. I want to take a moment here too, because I know many of you watching are tuning in from all over the world, from Ghana, from Pakistan, from India, from Kenya, from the UK, from Malawi, from places I've never even visited. And I just want to say, I see you. I appreciate you being here. The good news is that all three of these foods, beets, watermelon, and pumpkin seeds, grow in almost every country on Earth. You don't need a fancy supplement from an American website. You can walk to your local market and find what you need. Now, let's tie this all together so you can actually use it. Here's the simple plan I give my patients, and I want you to feel free to take notes. In the morning, start your day with a small handful of pumpkin seeds, either alone or sprinkled on whatever you're already eating. Oatmeal, yogurt, eggs on toast, doesn't matter. A few times a week, work beets into your meals. Roast it as a side dish. Grate it into a salad, or a small glass of beet juice, if you prefer it that way. Whenever watermelon is available, eat it generously and don't throw away the rind. Toss it in a blender with some water and a squeeze of lime for a refreshing drink. Pair this with the basics that matter at every age. Walk every day, even just 20 minutes. Drink enough water. Get sunlight on your skin when you can. Sleep 7 to 8 hours a night. Stay connected to people you love. These aren't glamorous tips, but they are the foundation that everything else stands on. And one more piece of advice that doesn't get talked about enough. Stress kills circulation. Chronic worry, financial pressure, loneliness, all of it tightens your blood vessels and works against everything you're trying to accomplish with food. So, take it easy on yourself. Laugh more. Call your kids. Sit on the porch. Whatever helps you exhale. Now, I want to address something a sharp viewer brought up recently because it deserves an honest answer. The question was, basically, can 3 foods really fix everything when so many men over 60 are dealing with heart disease, diabetes, prostate issues, and a long list of medications? And the answer is no. Of course not. Anyone who tells you otherwise is selling you something. But here's the thing. Food is the foundation. It's the soil that everything else grows in. If your foundation is weak, no medication, no supplement, no procedure is going to give you the results you're hoping for. What I'm offering you today isn't a miracle cure. It's the starting line. Combine it with your medical care, with movement, with rest, with connection, and you give yourself the best possible shot at feeling alive in your own body again. Because that ultimately is what this is all about. Not performance, not pride, not impressing anyone. It's about waking up in the morning and feeling like you still have something left to give. To your wife, to your family, to your community, to yourself. I want to leave you with one final thought before we wrap up. I had a patient years ago, a retired school teacher from Vermont, who told me something I've never forgotten. He said, "Doc, I spent my whole working life taking care of other people's kids. I never thought I'd have to learn how to take care of myself in my 70s. And he was right. Most men weren't taught how to nurture their own bodies. They were taught to push through, to grind, to ignore the warning signs. But here's the thing, it's never too late to start. Whether you're 60 and just starting to notice changes, 70 and wondering if there's still hope, or 80 and ready to write a new chapter, your body can still respond. The vessels can still open, the circulation can still improve, the energy can still come back. Maybe not all the way to where you were at 30, and that's okay, but more than where you are right now, absolutely. So go to the store this week, grab a beet. Grab a watermelon if it's in season, or a frozen bag if it isn't. Grab a bag of pumpkin seeds. Start small, be consistent, give it a month, and then come back here and tell me how you feel. Speaking of which, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me your age, if you're comfortable sharing. Tell Tell me which of these 3 foods you're going to try first, or if you've already been eating one of them and noticed a difference. Your stories matter, and they help other men in this community feel less alone. If this video helped you even a little, do me a favor and hit that like button. Share it with a friend, a brother, a husband, a father who might need to hear this message. And if you're new here, subscribe to the channel because next week I'll be covering the 7 warning signs of poor circulation that most men in their 60s and 70s completely ignore. You won't want to miss it. I'm Dr. Claire Weston. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Take care of yourselves out there. Eat well, move daily, love deeply, and remember the best years aren't always behind you. Sometimes, with a little knowledge and a little effort, the best is still ahead. Until next time, be well, everyone.